All right, guys, let's check out the Damasko ds30. So the entire Damasko lineup, I think, can be categorized as one of the most watched for money when you look at pretty much their entirety of the collection. Certainly with their older, like this one, the ETA models, there's a new movement model coming out that's going to have a price increase, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But big thanks to Josh, good friend of mine, been buddies for a long time, for sending this one in. This is one he picked up from another friend of ours, Aaron, and I think it originated from the Wind Up Watch shop because, well, it came with this, so in the box. You can pick this up at a few different places. This is a matte gray, or I tend to think it's more of a dove gray color, and pretty simple, legible, good loom, three-handed with a date, and then that ice hardened steel, so it is going to be like super scratch resistant, nearly impossible to scratch. I know a lot of people say they are impossible to scratch. I don't know about that. Nothing's really impossible. So case size on this, 39 millimeter, lug to lug of 47. You can see just classic clean case shape and styling here. It's going to be very comfortable on wrist. Drilled lugs as well, so you can swap whatever straps. There's actually even a bracelet for these. Super expensive because it's also crazy crafted and also using that hardened steel. 10.25 millimeter thick to the top of the sapphire crystal. It's flat with AR coating on top and bottom. 20 millimeter lug width here, and just under 6 millimeter screw down crown. The weight on this, because now we're going to do weights, is 70 grams on this leather strap, which this is the factory Damasko leather strap. Super soft and comfortable, the perfect thickness. It's not too thin, not too thick, and it's nice and pliable. This one's been worn plenty, so it's plenty broken in, but I think they pretty much ship ready to wear. Like I said, this one's using the ETA 2824. They're pretty much becoming sold out everywhere, the 2824 models. The new ds30, or I should say with the new in-house movement, is going to have the Damasko in-house A26 movement in it, which is basically a updated, better constructed or engineered, better materials version of a 2824. They bridged the balance wheel, they changed out some brass wheels for steel wheels, and they completely redesigned the winding mechanism. Mark over at Long Island Watch has an amazing video on the in-house movement. If I remember, I'll put a link to his video in the description. They'll also have a display case back with the A26 movement. They're not decorated or anything. And actually, they're even more simple looking than a 2824. For one, they dropped 5 jewels. A 2824 has 25 jewels, which a lot of it is in the winding mechanism. Well, the Damasko one is only a 20 jewel movement. So they kind of like engineered it and made it seem like it's more simple, but I'm sure that process was very not simple. But anyway, that's not what this one is. And one of the issues I think they wanted to remove from the 2824 that it is known for is in its winding mechanism. Certainly when you hand wind, and this one will actually do it. It could be that some of the gears aren't lining up, or they're worn, or the stem's just too long or something like that. But if you wind this one kind of in a rapid fashion, you can get this to like skip, like it's skipping teeth. So really this should probably take a trip to the watchmaker, because although it works fine, it's holding time and everything like that, if it's wearing off metal from teeth somewhere, that metal still inside this watch is going to cause havoc. So this really needs to take a trip to a watchmaker as soon as possible, because I think that that's already occurred. You know, you could just go like that and wear it and wind it that way, but I think this one's going to take a trip. It does have anti-magnetic properties, or a shielded cage. I think it's 4,800 amp meters, I think is how it's rated, and 200 meter water resist. It has their self-lubricating crown tube assembly, so when you screw it down and screw it, you know, all of that is also that ice hardened steel, so it is like absolute perfection when you operate it. If we zoom in here, you can get a better look at that matte dial. There's a little bit of texture to it, but not much. It's pretty clean overall aesthetically. And then you can see you have like a beveled or chamfered date window there with the black date wheel white print. Would have been cool if it was color matched, but typically you're going to have this on a black strap anyway, so it kind of all ties in regardless. There's no text on this really. You have the Damasko D, the Damasko branding, and then made in Germany down at the bottom. They, for the most part, there might be some when you get into chronographs and stuff like that where they'll have more text and stuff on the dial, but these are just everyday type wear clean watches. My personal watch here is the DA37. You can see it's just a little bit larger in all dimensions. So this is like a 40 by 48, and then it's 12 thick. So basically 1 millimeter wider, longer, and about 2 millimeter thicker. A lot of that is done just because, you know, it's a larger movement. It has the ETA 2836, which is going to give you the day date, plus you have the full lume dial. So for me, I think both work really good, but I like, for being a smaller watch, this is a larger, smaller watch. I don't know how else to say it. Like I could totally wear the ds30, and I'll pop it on wrist here real quick, but the DA37 just is, I don't know, it works better for me, for sure. Price-wise, the ds30, when they were in stock, were $961. I mean, you can see on my wrist, guys, it's the quintessential watch. It gives you the hour, time, seconds, clearly legible, and it gives you the date. And it's automatic. And you can't scratch it. It's on a nice strap. And what more do we want or need, really? It's such a clean watch. And I guarantee if you haven't checked out a Damasko, check one out, see if a buddy has one, or I don't know where you could go look at one, but I think check one out. And there's, you know, sometimes there's watches, you'll pick them up and you'll be like, not for me. The Damasko you're going to pick up and you're going to like, you're going to handle it a little bit. You're going to put it on. You might even pick it up like me. I pick up the ds30 and I'm like, this is going to be too small. I put it on wrist and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this thing's perfect. And there's a few different colors. Like I said, I like the full lume dial. They're such good watches. It's kind of one of those no-brainers. In the ETA models, now they're going to wipe out. They're not going to do the ETA models, I don't think, anymore. They stopped production on them. That's why you've seen inventory dry up. So now you're looking at the A26 models, which have a price hike of about $730. So those ones are going to be $1,691 for the DS30 with the new in-house movement. So just a couple $100 shy, or well, over a couple $100, basically of buying a whole nother DS30 in the ETA model. Does that make sense? I probably said that wrong. So yeah, it's $730 more than this, and this is only $961. Gets you to the $1,691. That gets you the in-house movement. What did you really gain? I don't have a problem with the ETA 2824. Yeah, I think it's cool that they're going to go with the in-house movement, and it is arguably a better movement, but it's not tried and true tested like the ETA 2824, even if this has to take a trip to the watchmaker, even if they have to replace the movement and regulate it. I'm still not going to spend $730. You see my point. Anyway, guys, let me kill the lights. I better put this one off to the side. I'll show you this one, but it's going to dominate. The full lume dial just dominates. So I will bring it in frame, but you can see clearly the DS30 is plenty legible. I believe that's C1 lume. That's why it's bright white. And then it's not crazy bright when you turn the lights off, but it is long lasting. And then now you can see why I like the full lume dial. Super legible. Just love the look of it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.